Hello, hello, and welcome to Community TV with Adaire. This is TV by me, but TV for you, but TV from me. And I always get that wrong. This is where I bring to you people and organizations and companies who are doing amazing things, small businesses who are doing amazing things in the community to help those people around them. Now, this could be anything from things like yoga to gardening to physical fitness to weight loss, anything that's going to help you live a better, more fulfilled life. Today, I am departing a little bit from that, actually a lot from that, because what we're doing is I'm talking with my dear friend and business partner, Theonie Roussianos, because I believe that what she is doing much more to help people in the community, or if not as much, to help people in the community as businesses that are providing services. So Theonie is organising a charity ball. She has, now I've just got some notes here, and I just need to figure out how to make it bigger so I can actually read it. Otherwise, I'll just bring Theonie on and she can introduce herself, which she's pretty good at doing anyway. So she is the mother of two young boys. She's had her family life turned upside down 2 years ago. It might be more than 2 years ago now, when her husband was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease called, now I'm going to try this one, atypical Haemolytic Uraemic Syndrome, and I'm sure she'll correct me if that's not right. Never one to crumble to adversity, Theonie is about to launch into her second community charity ball after raising nearly $50,000 for Kidney Transplant Diabetes Research Australia last year. Join us for an update of this roller coaster ride that has been Theonie's life since the diagnosis. Hello, hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. And you got it right. I don't know if you could see me, but I was sitting in the lobby going like this because you pronounced it correctly.
Like a seal.
You were almost as good as Billy Kidney.
Oh, no one could ever beat Billy Kidney. So hello, Trish. How you doing, hon? I see Fiona's already.
Trish.
Well, we do have
Hi,
a
Ross.
If you want to. Is Ross here as well?
Ross is watching.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Please share this broadcast, because this is something that where Kirsty Roach used to say, it takes a village. It really does take a village. So what we're doing now, the ball is only a week. We'll talk about your story in a moment, but I'm just a week and a bit away, week and a half away. So 3rd of November.
Tickets close on Sunday. We have to give final numbers to the venue on Monday.
So we really do need some real village help to get the ticket sales to where we want them to be. But before we do that, Theonie, just for people who don't know you, who haven't heard your story, just take us to the beginning, or do you want me to show the video?
Show the video, because I think the video says it in a more concise way than I can say it.
All right. So while I get my shit together, and
did you just say shit?
I did.
That's what I said when he got his diagnosis. Actually, I said more than that.
You probably did, but just go back, and it's not nice to have to go back. But if you go back to that time when he did, just explain a little bit about what it was like and how you felt, if you don't mind me asking.
No. It's how I felt. I'll use the word shit since you did. I was shit scared. I'll be completely honest with you. Yeah. You've opened up the gates to profanity.
That's right. Oh my God. This is a bad move, people.
It's all good. I won't say worse than shit, I promise. I was scared. I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
That's all good. I was scared shitless, and Jerry, so we didn't know what was going on, and you had doctors telling you all this stuff, but none of it was making any sense to us because we were hearing all this language that we'd never heard before. You go into hospital and you hear, I think sometimes people forget that you're not in the medical world yourself. And they start throwing around terms that perhaps a lot of people do know, or perhaps they're terms that people don't know unless they've been through this themselves. But they started talking about PEs, and I'm like, he's hospital bound, he's not doing physical education. What the hell are you talking about? So they started talking about PEs. Now, PEs are, so they were talking, he had blood clots in both lungs, but I didn't know that a PE was a pulmonary emboli, and I didn't even know what that meant. Now I do, because he's been through it. But for someone who's never had to deal with any of that stuff, I think they forget that, you know, we don't know. And the doctors are almost talking about you like you're not even there, and talking to you but about you, if that makes sense. And so he started off, he was initially diagnosed with pancreatitis, which was what sent him into hospital, because he'd been sick for a while, but it was the pain that sent him into hospital that particular day. And Jerry was diagnosed with pancreatitis, and then they had to investigate to see why he had that and what was going on. And it was from the blood test following on from that they discovered his kidneys weren't functioning properly. And then through further testing, so from 2 days after he was admitted into hospital, he was diagnosed with atypical Haemolytic Uraemic Syndrome, or aHUS as we call it, because it's too bloody long to say all the time. And then from then, so the doctors started talking about what aHUS means and what it is, but none of it was really sinking in, because all I knew is that I had this husband in hospital who was in and out of ICU and had all this stuff going on. He was spent some time in high dependency, and it was just all, none of what they were saying was sinking in. And so he was at Ashford, Haemolytic Ashford Hospital, and they don't have a renal unit there, but they were treating him there. So they started the life-saving treatment that he needed while he was in hospital there, which is the reason that I started the community fundraising to begin with. The treatment that he's on, the drug is called eculizumab, and there's one drug company in the world that makes it, and it comes in at $500,000 to $600,000 a year per adult patient. Now, we're fortunate. Yeah, it is. And I mean, we're fortunate enough here that it is covered under the PBS, but not indefinitely. And so we're sitting today where we're sitting now. So every 6 months, his doctor and whoever else, I don't know whoever else deals with it. All I hear is his doctor saying what he's got to do. So Professor Toby Coates, who's his doctor, goes through an approval process. So he has to fill in applications and whatever, and we basically have to apply for him to be able to have this life-saving treatment every 6 months. Now,
Can I just stop you there, because I know my lovely Greek wife, when you get going,
just try and shut me up.
Just try and shut you up. I want to play the video, and once I've done that, then we'll go into what's the impact and what, you know, the sort of the roller coaster ride you've been on. But the video does explain it beautifully. I'm just going to pop this up. He's sharing the screen, and I'm going to solo that. So we're watching it behind. At the moment, you're looking at the back of Be Live TV. I'm just going to click over to the video here, put it on full. It goes for just under a minute, about just over a minute and a half. But just check this out. It will tell you the story magnificently. Okay, go. Okay, we'll stop it there because
I need to edit the end of that video.
you need to edit the end of that video, but that's okay. That is a really, it's like I'm getting a lump in my throat because even though we're close and I do, you know, I'm quite aware of what you've been through, it still hits me every time, and I think, my God, the things that you do with your family and your boys, and you still get up and you just keep going. So with when you got that diagnosis, that was that 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah, January 2016. So it's almost 3 years.
Yeah. So, oh my God, that time's gone so fast. Yeah, it's probably so slow for you guys. So,
no, not really. Not really. You know, sometimes you go through stuff and you think of specific circumstances or things that have happened in life or whatever events you've been to and things, and you think they don't feel like they were that long ago, and then this feels like so long ago. It really doesn't feel like it. Feels like it was just, a year ago or whatever, and then you think of all these other things that have happened along the way and you're like, it was 3 years.
Because last year that one photo of Jerry where he was very, very what's the word?
Sick.
Like, very sick. He was wasted away. His body was wasted.
That was on the 23rd. Yeah, that was on the 23rd of December, just before Christmas last year.
Yeah. So, and so this is part of the roller coaster ride that you've been through. You were saying before about the life-saving drugs and how they have helped. So now we'll pick up that story because pick up that thread because it really is. That's all part of the whole picture for people who are suffering from kidney disease.
Or this disease particularly. So it's only the approval that we go through under the PBS. We can only apply for it in 6 months. You get a six months worth of a script for it. It's administered like chemo, so he goes into hospital every fortnight for this stuff. Gets pumped through him through a drip, similar to a chemo drug, and goes for 45 minutes, and then he goes back home. So we're fortunate enough that he's had it under the PBS now for almost 3 years. But the last two, he had blood tests last. This is where we're sitting now. So on Thursday just gone, he had blood tests and all the other tests that he has to have to go through the next approval process. And so we're now sitting here waiting. I dread this time of year. I hate thinking about Christmas because it's still the period of unknown for us. We don't know if he's going to have access to this treatment next year. And the fact is that the last two approvals that he did receive, the fact that he had seizures helped immensely.
It's insane, isn't it? So Roz is saying any chronic invisible disease affects so many.
It does.
It really does.
It does. And in many ways, and that's the exact thing. So with invisible diseases, you can't see that the person's sick. I mean, unless they look like he did when he was in hospital, he was obviously sick. But if you look at him today, he looks well, he looks fine. He's stressed due to other circumstances, but that's by the by. He looks well, he looks fine. But, without this drug, nobody wants to live on a drug for the rest of their life. But the fact is that this drug is keeping his system working the way it should and stopping his kidneys from failing. It's prevented him from requiring dialysis, and it's prevented him from, complete kidney failure and needing a kidney transplant, which he probably will need one within the next, if you look at textbook case, and nothing about him's textbook, but let's say he's a textbook case, he will need a kidney transplant in about 30 years' time. But by then, with the research that they're doing, the Royal Adelaide Hospital got their 3D bioprinter, organ printer earlier this year, which was all done through funding through the grants that the Hospital Research Foundation got, and Kidney Transplant Diabetes Research Australia is one of their affiliate programs.
So that just blows my mind when you think about, like, just put an order for a kidney and
and off you go. That's it. Not having to think about finding a compatible donor for people who need kidney transplants. And then, who knows, by the time he needs a transplant, we'll probably be growing our own.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Katie, hello. Thanks for joining us. But we do a variety of shows here on My Time TV, and today's show is Community TV with Adaire. Don't do readings. We're actually speaking with Theonie Roussianos about the charity ball. Well, firstly, about her story with her husband with a life-threatening illness of aHUS, and what the subsequent actions that Theonie has taken to help improve the situation in whatever way she can, because I'm sure that you felt completely helpless and hopeless at first when you got the diagnosis.
And as time goes on, at times you still feel like that, especially when, at Christmas time when he ended up in hospital, you're back at the beginning again.
Yeah.
Because it's still unknown. So when he was in hospital then, so he had a seizure that morning, sent him into hospital, called an ambulance. He was in hospital. Turned out that he had a sepsis. So they could have lost him. With a sepsis, they can lose you within 12 hours.
Wow.
And so, if you want to talk about being lucky but unlucky, he's been in that position many, many times. I took him to the doctor today, and he was talking about, just some stress and whatever. And the doctor goes, "You've been under some stress." He's like, "Yeah, but it's not too bad. I almost died twice in the last few years." So, when you put it into perspective.
That's put it into perspective, yes.
So, I'm still standing walking today. So, and the reality is without the research and without money, they can't do the research. And I know they're working on cures for diabetes and better ways to treat diabetes patients and people with kidney disease while they're waiting for a transplant. And who knows, we might prevent the need for transplants down the track. Who knows?
So
who knows what the future holds?
Why a ball? How did that come about?
Why not? I'll tell you, there are lots of things that you and I do because you and I are in business together. There are lots of things that we do that just become the natural progression. It's just what you do. And then you think about, how did that happen? It just happened because it happened. We were it was our first appointment with Jerry's nephrologist so he came and saw us at Ashford and then said, contact me when you discharge. So he spent 28 days in hospital when he was first diagnosed. And then when he was discharged, we contacted his nephrologist and made an appointment to come and see him. And it was at the second appointment, I think, I decided that I needed to put my energy into something positive because everything was still relatively new and quite unknown to us at that point, and the stress was building up. So I needed something positive to put the energy into rather than sitting at home stressing, because I figured sitting at home stressing about tomorrow wasn't going to change anything. And so I thought, well, why not put the care that he received at the hospital was second to none. His nephrologist is amazing at explaining everything that's going on as well. He doesn't talk to you in doctor language. He comes down to your level, if that makes sense. So, and that was the first time. So
he speaks people.
He does.
Roz is saying, is it going to be ballroom dancing at the ball? I'm suspect. Can I say it might be? Do you remember you're probably too young. The old band Sweet.
I remember Sweet and Sour. I don't remember Sweet.
Sweet. They wrote Ballroom Blitz.
Oh, I know the song. I didn't know the band.
So there might show my age here. There might be some songs along those lines more so than the foxtrot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more the stuff that everyone can dance to. I want everyone to be able to get up and kick their heels up. So they are a rock cover band. So the stuff that everyone knows from 60s, 70s, 80s to today. And we also have before that some entertainment, which is I'm really excited about. I don't know if you saw a post I shared yesterday from Lindy Jane or some blonde chick. It was from her page. So they're on. Did you see that post?
No,
with Billy sitting. Oh, so some blonde chick shared a post. They jumped on a plane yesterday on their way to Adelaide for the show, and they're doing some other shows while they're here. And there's one of Billy the kidney, who's our puppet. So Lindy is a ventriloquist, but Billy speaks for himself. And there's a photo of Billy sitting on the plane at the window, and he's got his hand on the windowsill just looking out. And it's like, I just want to do a caption this for this photo. And it's like, hurry up and take off, man.
Oh,
that's just the cutest. It's the absolute cutest. So why the ball? So I wanted to do something to raise money for these people. I thought wanted to support. Needed to raise awareness for aHUS at first, because we were in a position where after the first 12 months, there was a big chance that he wasn't going to have access to the treatment at all. So I wanted to do something. And that's the one. So I wanted to do something, and I thought needed to do something to raise awareness, and the money had to go somewhere. So why not support the people keeping people like Jerry alive? And so that's where the whole concept of the fundraising came from. And initially I thought, I will have a quiz night. And I don't know how it happened.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, neck minute.
Neck minute. God. So you wanted to have a quiz.
224 I just saw. So the initial thought was a quiz night, and somehow that evolved into a ball. And at that point I was doing it all on my own. I didn't have a committee together at that point. And I dragged some people into it. A couple of people volunteered. A couple of other people I dragged into it and formed a committee, and it was an absolute hit. We had the one event last year, raised, just as you said earlier, just under $50,000 in that one event, including donations that because people who couldn't attend made cash donations and things like that. So all of that together, we raised just under $50,000 for Kidney Transplant Diabetes Research Australia. This year we've had 2 events so far. We've had a quiz night. So I had that quiz night I was initially going to have. And we had the jazz night as well, which is great, which I didn't have anything to do with the planning for that one, but they put that event, a couple of the doctors put that event together to help us reach our fundraising target. Yeah. And so we're starting with, I think we've got $17,000 in the bank off the top of my head to start this off. And the fundraising goal is $70,000. So we're still selling tickets to the event. As we said earlier, ticket sales close this Sunday because I have to give final numbers to the venue on Monday. And we've still got tables. You know, you can buy a ticket for yourself, a ticket for you and a friend, or a table of 10, or you can buy 4. We'll make you a table of 10, you know, whatever it might be. It's a great night. People are still raving about last year's event. I've had comments from people saying, you know, people who can't come this year who attended last year, disappointed that dates have clashed and that kind of thing. You don't want to miss out. You really don't want to miss out. We've got some awesome auction prizes and things as well. And the band, the entertainment this year is going to be amazing.
I know, right? Lindy is amazing. Dave is amazing. I haven't heard 11 Days, but we're speaking to their lead. Is that their lead tomorrow? Their lead singer, guitarist, whatever, lead singer. Brett, yes. So Roz was saying she was talking about waltzing military 2-step tango. I'm not quite sure there may be opportunity to do that. She's going,
do you know, nobody will stop you from dancing to the beat of your own drum on the dance floor.
We don't, we encourage that. In fact, I did start a poll if you want to. We've had some people, let's see, we've had someone saying no. Kidney disease, diabetes has not, they don't know anyone who's affected by that. Interesting.
Lucky you. The statistics are crazy.
Yeah, and the second one's come in and said yes.
That was the second one. I just did it on my phone then.
Well, hang on a minute. I don't want to be left out. I'm going to see if I can find it and do it as well. So it's a bit of finagling on this page, but we'll get there. So how can people, what's the best way that people can help? Theonie,
If you can't come to the ball but would like to support the event in some way, support Kidney Transplant Diabetes Research Australia, in the ticketing link, so at tix.yt type ball below, because that'll take you to the link. That'll be easier.
That will be much easier.
That'll be much easier. Forget what I just said. Comment ball below. Share this video first of all, comment ball below, and you will receive a message to your inbox and then from Adaire. And you will also then, there's a two-step process because Facebook likes to know that you are you and we're not spamming you. And so you'll need to respond to that message, and then you'll receive a link to go straight to the Facebook event. And you can have a look at some stuff in the Facebook event, and then in there is the ticketing link as well. So where you can purchase tickets, and in there, if you have a read of that, you can then decide if the time's right, if you can come to the event or not. But in there is also details for the bank account where you can make a cash donation, and receipts will be issued. If you're making a cash donation, receipts will be issued after the event as well by Kidney Transplant Diabetes Research Australia. We're still sourcing auction and raffle items, so if you'd like to donate anything in that respect, or go straight to the ticketing link, of course, and buy your tickets to the event.
Yes, and bring your friends. And if you can't, like Ros says, it's a bugger, she's not going to be able to be there. That's totally understandable. And, we all, like Theonie said before, there are a lot of things happening and people do have prior commitments, and we do appreciate you sharing. So if you can't buy a ticket, if you can't come along, if you wanted to give a donation, you're more than welcome to give a donation, and you're also more than welcome to share. So there's, as you can see, Jerry is feeling much better. we nearly got a flash of his chest one time. So yeah, that's the beauty about going live, isn't it? You never know. It's like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know which body part you're going to see.
I was going to say, at least he was dressed. No, please don't.
Roz is saying nice way.
Nice.
A great idea to have a donation option in the ticketing. It is. We're about to wind this up, but yes, please, if you, the very, very least, if you cannot do anything except share, please share, because that's the most, if you can't come, if you can't donate, there may be someone in your network that has a real vested interest in, or not that you don't, but for whatever reason, will be able to come, will be able to join us, or be able to make a donation. So please share. And yes. Ros is saying, Lind, dark chocolate for you, Ros. So
Thank you for having me on, Adaire. I really appreciate it. And I mean, you're on my committee and you have to do all sorts of things. For me, you didn't have to do this though today, and I do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely my pleasure. And I just love hanging out with you and chatting with you. And I think we even, when we're being serious, we're not, sort of thing. So
we're not serious yet.
Ros is saying, yes, please, she'll have the dark chocolate. So well, I'll drop you out. Don't go anywhere. I'll drop you out and I'll wind up today's show and we'll talk in a moment. So thanks
for watching, everyone.
And Ros has shared. Thank you, Ros. Brilliant. Okay. So Theonie Roussianos, the fundraiser extraordinaire, who has another charity ball coming up. That's the third event this year to raise funds, community funds for Kidney Transplant and Diabetes Research Australia. Please support when you type ball in the comments, what you will get is a link to the event. So you can please share that, buy a ticket or donate. Is awesome. Thank you for being here. I'm Adaire Palmer. It's Community TV with Adaire, and I will see you next week at 2 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Time for another episode of Community TV with Adaire right here on My Time TV. Bye for now.